Hello, everyone. This is the Courageous Creativity Show. I am so thankful to be back. I'll tell you where I've been for the last month or so in a different episode, and I'll tell you about all of that. But I am so thrilled today to be talking to an amazing creator and an amazing person that I've met recently. Both she and I are part of the Atlanta Dramatists. So if you don't not familiar with that organization, it's a great organization where a lot of people who are in the theater world here in Atlanta get together and we do fun stuff. We have readings and we have plays that we do. All of that is amazing. And Tanya and I both serve on the board of that organization. Tanya and I had a conversation and I said, "You have to be on the Courageous Creativity podcast. You just have to be on it because her story and what she is up to is something that inspires me. And I know it'll inspire others that are there. So, Tanya, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Winston. I'm happy to be here with you again.
That is so awesome. So, Tanya, I'm gonna do like a rapid fire. Sometimes you go on shows and they tell you things like at the end they'll do a rapid fire thing. So I'm going to ask you questions about just pop cultural things,
Oh no.
and then I'm gonna let the audience dig it or not as a way to get to know you a little bit.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I know I'm surprising you a little bit on this, but
You
I'm
are.
doing it on purpose because I want it to be just you, whatever comes to your mind. So,
Okay.
first question is favorite movie.
I would say Bridesmaids. It's a movie that I can watch multiple times over, and every time I watch it, I crack up like it's the first time that I've seen it.
Bridesmaids. That is
Yes.
you. I can't. I remember it, but man, when was that? That was. Ooh,
Pretty old. It's pretty old.
that's awesome. Wow. Of all the times I've asked this question, no one's ever gotten close. Saying bridesmaids. Oh, that's awesome.
And I
Uh,
typically don't rewatch movies, so the fact that I've seen it more than a handful of times, I think that says something.
oh, that's awesome. Favorite actor or actress?
Ooh. Um That's interesting. The first thing that came to mind was Don Cheadle for some reason. So I guess we'll just go with that.
Don Cheadle. He is a
Yeah.
phenomenal actor. There's no doubt about it. You know, I haven't seen him in anything substantial recently. And I don't use the word substantial, but when he first started his career, he was in a lot of really good things. He was the guy in things. I haven't seen him in that many things recently.
Yeah,
Don,
I
go
haven't
out there
either.
and
So
get
it's
some.
interesting that he was the first one to come to mind, but that's who
There's a
popped up.
there's a reason there's a reason why he popped into your head. Why is that? Why did he pop into your
I don't
head?
know. Um, I don't know actually. It was just the first
Uh,
one to come to mind.
that is so cool. So here's the last one, and we may ask some others as
Okay.
time goes on. Favorite book?
I'm going to cheat a little bit and I'm going to give a trilogy. And it's the
Okay.
Xenogenesis series from Octavia Butler.
Wow. The Xenogenesis series. I'm familiar with the author, but I'm not familiar with the series. What is? Tell me a
It's
little bit about it.
great. So it's post-apocalyptic, and essentially what happens was the we had like some kind of Cold War, and most of humanity was wiped out, but there were a few humans that were left. And so these aliens that had been like orbiting Earth saw what happened, and they took the humans that were alive onto their ship, put them in suspended animation while they like rebuilt the earth and made it habitable again. However, in doing so, they had to like mix in their genetic material and things like that in order to bring it back to life. And so then they wake the humans up and let them know, hey, here's what happened. We saved you. We saved your planet. We'll send you back. But it's different. So things that didn't used to be poisonous may be poisonous now. Things that, were good or bad and things like that. And then there was also a caveat because only half of the humans would be going back to Earth, and the other half would have to genetically mate with the aliens for them to have another like hybrid species. And so they wake up a black woman first, because you know Octavia Butler always has a black woman heroine in her stories. So they start with this black woman and they wake her up and tell her, here's the story, and we're gonna wake up the other humans, and you're gonna be the one to tell them what is going down. So it's a very
That's awesome.
interesting series
Are
and
you
really
into
quickly.
those kind of stories, like sci-fi type of things?
Yes, yes,
Oh wow,
I love sci-fi.
I do too. I dig sci-fi. I really do. I look forward to when I'm looking at movies like on streaming services. I'm always like trying to find the sci-fi ones first, like and see which sci-fi and the way technology is now. People can make a pretty good sci-fi without
Yeah.
without a whole bunch. So tell us now. So now that everyone knows how cool you are and all the cool things that you do, tell us a little bit about your path as a creator. And you've done something recently that we want to get into, but tell us a little bit about your path as a creator.
So my path was actually something that it took me a long time to recognize that I was even on. I would say it took me until like my mid 20s to actually call myself a writer. So I've been writing since I was a girl, journaling, poetry, things like that. But it was really just a process for me of expressing myself or just making sense of the world. And my friends would always tell me that I was a great writer and I should publish a book. And I never would think that I should. I'm just like, no, I just like to write, but I wouldn't call myself a writer. And then my best friend from middle school was like, if you do not publish your stuff, I'm going to gather all the stuff that you've sent me over the years and I'm going to publish it. So I was like, okay, this is for real. Like people really resonate with my writing, and so I've continued to write throughout the years, but I've never really like pursued a writing career because I have gone on, a different career path. And so my writing has always been in the background and just think something that I do, but not necessarily like pursue it seriously. And so in the last few years, I have decided that it's time for me to share more. So I last year I did some spoken word events, and I've just been sharing more of my writing. And I also hold on, it says it wants to change. Okay.
I continue to hear you.
Okay. It gave me some notification about switching the microphones. So yeah, I've just continued to write, and I now have a plan in terms of how I'm going to finish some of my writing projects, my books, things like that. And I wrote a play also in 22, and I will look to produce that play as well.
Oh wow, that is so awesome. You've made a personal decision that I considered very courageous in regards to your career. It's something that I and many others have contemplated, and some have done. And you've made a decision about how you want to focus on your creative journey when it comes to your career. Can you tell the audience here of the Courageous Creativity Show a little bit about that decision and why'd you do it?
Yeah, so I very recently decided that I would leave corporate America, my workforce, and pursue my writing full time and see what I can do when I allocate my time and my energy towards those projects as opposed to a full time job, which was really like five jobs. So, and honestly, I had been playing with the idea for a very long time, but you have a lot of fear when it comes to not having a guaranteed check. And I'm a single mother. I have two sons. And so not having a steady income is something that is very concerning for me. But last year, my job just got to such a challenging, it was just so challenging for me. And I feel like I was mentally and emotionally and spiritually just being tapped in a different kind of way. And it got to the point where it was bad enough where I decided that I would rather not get a check at all than to continue to endure the what I was experiencing. And so that's how I got there. Initially, it was just for me to take a break and to heal and recover from the just the years of workplace stress and overwhelm and burnout and all of that. But then I realized like this is a great opportunity for me to embark on my writing career.
Wow. Wow, that's really introspective, and it sounds like it's a tough decision
It
to
was,
make.
and I cried a lot, and it's still something that I'm working on. I was in my, so I'm professionally, I am a research administrator. So we support faculty researchers in securing grants and contracts for sponsored research. So surely you can understand how last year was really horrible after January 20th and all of the executive orders that were changing research and how we do research in this country because we're mostly funded by the federal government. And so, but I've been in my profession for about 18 years now, and I've had a very rewarding career. I've worked at some really top research institutions, Georgia Tech and Duke, and right now I'm at Seattle Children's Research Institute. And so to be able to contribute to society in that way has been very rewarding and very fulfilling. But then at the same time, I recognize that it's at the cost of not only my peace of mind and things like that, but there was also that part of my spirit that was like, hey, 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 she's been calling for a long time to get her time in the forefront. And so I feel good about honoring that part of myself because I've always honored like the academic in me, the professional in me, the mother in me. So this is now the time for the creator of me to be running the show.
That's awesome. So if
Thank you.
someone's out there saying they're in the same place from a decision perspective, what's one bit of advice you tell them to contemplate while they're making this decision about whether they should go on their creative path or continue in their corporate life?
Well, I think that at least for me, it got to the point where not making the change was more uncomfortable than making the change. And I think that I wouldn't have gotten there on my own. And so I recognize because I'm like, I could have done this years ago, but I was still comfortable enough, and I
Mhm.
and I had I had gotten to a point in my career I was making the most money I've ever made in my life, and I could pay all of my bills and travel and take care of my kids and stuff, and that was really great. And so I understand the hesitation in making that change, but when you realize that what it's costing you is more than what it's benefiting you, then I think that it's time to make that change. And then the other thing for me is um, I believe in like signs and synchronicities and things like that. And so when I start to look around and see like who God is bringing into my life and what certain experiences that I have and where they align. And so when you like even meeting you and being on the board of Atlanta Dramatists and the people that I have been encountering that have been coming into my life are in this creative realm. And so to me, that's a sign and a signal that I'm on the right path and this is what God wants me to do. And when I made the decision, there was like there was so much like I hadn't done anything. All I did was make a decision. And I remember I
Wow.
was on the phone with my coworker and I said, I'm not coming back to work. And as soon as I said that, it was like this like and then that's when I was like, okay, this is it.
Wow. It's so impressive. The one other thought I had or question I had was how was your children reacting to this decision? How's that going?
It's funny because my youngest son, he's a senior in high school right now, but he has spent the last few years like really aware of what I've been doing and what I've been going through also. And when I first told him, he was like, "You totally should." And I'm thinking, so like I'm your sole source of like I take care of you and like you're okay with this, but he really believes in me and that helped me a lot too because for the person who sees me and knows me the most to say yes, go for it, even if it's at the expense of, you know, the income that we have gotten used to as a family, right? Like it's a tough time. He's a senior, he's about to go to college, and now is not the time for me to be leaving a job, but here we are.
That's awesome. To have the support of your children like that, that's amazing.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Wasn't there a decision? Wasn't there something going on with one of your children that I saw recently?
Yeah, so my youngest son that I was just speaking of, he got accepted into Georgia Tech, so he will be starting in the summer of this year.
That is
And that's
fantastic.
my alma mater too, so it's super special to me. And as an alum of Georgia Tech, he's pretty much like grew up there. He was actually his father and I met at Georgia Tech, and he's been with me through my whole, like, all the time, going back to homecoming, things like that. And he's been wanting to go since as long as I can remember. And so we got the news yesterday, and we're
That's
very
awesome.
excited. So now we got second generation.
He and you have to be a pretty sharp cookies to go to Georgia Tech. There's no doubt
Yes.
about it.
It is a hard school,
And
but
that,
he's ready.
that is so fantastic. So another fast round, lightning round question for you.
Okay.
Tell us about a key mentor in your life.
A key mentor in my life, I would have to shout out my present mentor, Dr. Shelly Ann. I met her several years ago, and she has a Go Bravely mentorship community. And what attracted me to her was actually, I originally heard her on a song. So Landrell is one of my favorite music artists, and she is Landrell's wife. And there's a song on there where she does the intro, and the words to that intro are just so powerful, and they spoke to me as a woman. And I'm like, who is this? So, you know, you do some searching and you look them up and you find out. So I started following her on social media, and come to find out, like, she's all the things. She's literally like all the things, but she also has experienced that transition. She was a lawyer, and she left academia and her legal career to pursue her coaching and her mentorship. So she made a whole career shift after investing all of this in one direction as well. And so she empowers women, or not just for like CEOs and things like that, but women who want to achieve and be leaders in their whatever their area is. And so she has been mentoring me for several years, and I do individual coaching with her, and then I'm also part of the broader mentorship community. And you have women from all over the world. And she's here locally in Atlanta, but we have, and she's from Trinidad. And so there's like women literally everywhere that are part of this community. And we come together. We have healing circles once a month. We have our mentorship sessions as well. And we just talk about really important topics for women, and especially women who are high achieving. And, how do we take our stuff to the next level? There's accountability. We have a book club. We have fun. We do a lot of great things together. But more importantly, I feel like Dr. Shelly Ann is helping me to navigate this transition in a way that's going to not only ensure my success, but make sure that it's not done in a way that's compromising to myself, my spirit, or anything like that. So she's
Mm, That's
phenomenal. You should look her up.
that's so
She does
awesome.
great things, and she really, I think, like, it's hard to, like, people say like women can't get along and things like that, and sisterhood can be very challenging, especially as we get older and we're very set in our ways, and making new friends and things like that can be challenging when you're also trying to navigate your own life and circumstances and things like that. So I think it's really powerful that she's been able to bring together all different types of women, and just to see the sisterhood in action, and how we we bond and we connect even though we're different, and then we are able to support each other to do the hard work that it is to be a leader, and a creative or a businesswoman and things like that.
You know, I don't want to assume something here, Tanya, but I usually ask to get our guests something that is breaking their heart, something that breaks their heart, or really, really they have a focus on. And I get a sense, and please tell me that Winston, you're totally off base, that really helping and empowering women is one of those things for you. Am I right?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. And how did you come to this? So is it like a personal kind of journey or something you witnessed that made you say, let me be part of this kind of community?
Well, well, I would say like holistically, I feel like it's important to me to empower everybody, right? Not just women. Um, or I'll say connect with, and because I feel like everybody has a purpose, everybody has something that they are here to do, but we need each other in order to navigate life and accomplish that. And so I feel like that's what all of our relationships are for, and why we find ourselves in the same place and space as people, so that way we can contribute to their journey and they can contribute to ours. And so, of course, as a Black woman, I have had the benefit of being in a lot of communities where I was exposed to wonderful women doing great things and recognizing that we could help each other out. And they've been helpful for me. And especially when I got on like my healing journey and um, going on yoga retreats and things like that, where
Oh,
we unpack stuff and we heal together. And then at the same time, then you see like, okay, how does that translate when we come back to our regular lives?
so
And it does extend.
you're a big yoga person. I've recently over the last couple of years really gotten into yoga as much as possible. And on the days that I do yoga, regardless of whatever the result is, the physical result is not the point, but the way it makes my entire body feel
Yes.
and my nervous system and my spirit feel is so amazing. It really is. You know,
I love it.
do you do yoga a lot?
I do. I haven't been going to a studio probably since the pandemic. We
Mhm.
had to go virtual. I was going to this yoga studio called Sacred Chill West back in the day, but they ended up closing during the pandemic, and then we went virtual, and we would do like virtual sessions and things like that. But now, like I just in the mornings, I go downstairs, put my music on, and I just do whatever flow comes to me, or sometimes I'll just do like a series of sun salutations, and then I
Mhm.
have like another flow that I did that's like a modified sun salutation that takes probably about 2 minutes or so, like for one round to do. Like it takes like me like 2 minutes, and so I feel like
It
I can
sounds
knock out a lot in a short time.
it sounds like you could teach people, or you could
No.
yoga.
Then I'd have to do the yoga teacher training, and those are expensive.
It sounds like you got a whole regimen in
I
regard
do, I
to
do.
how you do your yoga.
But I
And
am
every
I am transitioning to teach Zumba. I had my first like dry run with a couple of my friends the other day. And so I'm really excited because that's something that I realized, okay, if I'm not going to be getting a check from an employer, then I still need like some kind of income, right? Not a whole
Mhm.
lot because I'm going to basically be living off my savings, but it would help to have something coming in. And so when I thought about what I could do, and I remembered that I had this certification since 2022 that I haven't used, maybe it's time for me to do that. And so I made that decision. That was kind of like a one day I was like, oh, I know what I could do. I could teach Zumba. And then it's helping me because I'm using it as a, so I'm calling it Shake It Off with Tanya. And
Oh,
so the
shake it
Zumba
off
is
with
really
Tanya.
only, yeah. And then
That's
the
awesome.
subtitle or the sub, I don't know what you call it, but it's feel it, move it, let it go. So the Zumba is actually just the middle part of the move it. But first, I have people to feel it. So really to like tap into their bodies and feel like what is my body trying to tell me? Because we know the body keeps the score. And so we may be going through whatever emotions and experiences, and it's all in our bodies. And so our bodies can tell us a lot about what we need to move and let go. So the first segment of the session is just tapping in. Everybody closes their eyes and just listens to their body. And then we do the Zumba portion where we're moving and sweating and doing all that good stuff. And then the last portion is the let it go. And then similarly, just whatever it is that has been revealed to them that they need to leave it there, then that's that time to do it. So it's really to be like a somatic experience more than just a Zumba class.
I've never done Zumba before.
You should do
Not at
it.
all. I
It's
don't know.
fun.
For some reason, I was under the impression that Zumba was a lot of dance movement,
It is.
which which is which has never been my thing. But uh,
I
but
like it
I'm
because it's dance based, and so I love dancing. That's like my favorite way of blowing steam. And so, or maybe second way, but anyways. But it's like you're doing it and you don't realize that you're exercising because you're just having fun. And then the next day you're like, oh yeah, okay, that was a workout. I feel it, your thighs are burning, or you feel it on
yeah,
your sides, and you're like, okay.
you never
So
know how these things work. Recently, I took a trip and I walked 9 miles a day according to my pedometer. And for me, walking 9 miles a day is not like anybody else walking
right.
9 miles a day. Because I'm walking and I'm all strapped up, with whatever I need apparatus to help me do this walking. But I tell you, Tanya, I was like, I don't care. I'm
Yeah,
walking.
all of it.
I'm gonna keep walking until I cannot walk. And part of it is the way I grew up. I finally remember the days of walking New York City with my mom growing up, and we would walk and walk and walk, and everybody else in the family was like, "We don't want to walk. We're tired of walking. There's too much walking," and I just loved it, and going to another place. So that leads me to another rapid fire question, and then there's going
Okay.
to be a specific. Is it, tell the audience of somewhere you've been. It could be somewhere locally, somewhere in the United States, or somewhere else that you remember fondly, and why.
Whew, that's hard. So many places come to mind. I've been like traveling crazy for the last few years. But I'm going to say South Africa. I've been to South Africa 3 times, and
3 times.
3 times.
Oh.
3 times. And I know Africa is a huge continent, right? I have all these other countries to visit, but I'm kind of that person. Like, if I know I like something, I'll just keep going back to it, right? Because I know exactly. But the first time I went there with my friend Mosette and this travel agency, it was like 20 something people on this one trip. We didn't know like the other people, but we did this trip together. I forget how long it was, but it was like the best week of my life. And it's interesting because I know that like genetically we trace back to West Africa, but I felt very much at home in South Africa.
Wow.
And the other thing about it in Cape Town, what I experienced, so I'm a nature junkie, I'm a Virgo, I love all things nature. And so in Cape Town, you have like, I feel like the best of all the nature worlds. You have the ocean right there, you have the mountains, you got the lush green. It's just like I was on the they have this hop on hop off bus that you can go like
Mhm.
around, different attractions or whatever, and there's one that just goes along the coastline. And I was like, I don't know where to look. Like, I look over here and it's like, but do I look over here? It was just so I decided to just ride it twice so that I could
That's
focus on one
awesome.
side one round and then the other side. But it's just beautiful. They have a place there too. It's called the World of Birds, and it's I don't even know how many different species of birds that they have in there. But I spent like 6 hours there. The people were like, "You're still here?" But I love birds too, and so that's probably like my favorite place there in South Africa.
South Africa 3 times. Gosh, I am sure you've got pictures and footage from all of
Yes,
that.
I got a lot, and I have friends there now too. So it's every time I go. Now I have a friend Pude, for example, that I visit with, and we keep in touch in between. And the last time that I went, she actually came to where I was staying, and we spent the night together. And
Oh,
that
that's
place was
awesome.
like crazy beautiful. It was almost like heaven and earth. There's like a garden and trails and all this stuff like on the property of the hotel. And so it was beautiful, and I left some of my father's ashes there too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why is your father from South Africa?
No, it was just I brought his ashes with me everywhere I've gone since he passed, and I leave a little there because he wanted his ashes spread. So
What?
yeah. So
So
he's
he
been to South Africa, Jamaica, Ghana. In Ghana, I left. So his name is Warren Elliott Blackwell, so WEB, and we
Mhm.
had gone to the WB Du Bois Memorial Center, and
Mhm.
so on my
I went
last
to that
day
same
there,
place. I've been to that same place. Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
amazing, right?
Mhm.
So I it was the last day, and I was like, where am I gonna leave his ashes? And then I realized, and I was going back there to buy this jacket, and so I thought about it, I was like, that's the perfect place because we got two WEBs. So I left him there with WEB Du Bois.
What a great what a great thing that is
Yeah.
to to leave your part of your dad all over the world. That's that's amazing. That
But
tells
I'm gonna
me
run out at some point. So
yeah, yeah. Without me even knowing your dad, that tells me a lot about the relationship you had with him. And that's really fantastic. I was telling somebody the other day that sometimes we don't really know how special the time is that we live in because of all the other stuff we see on the news. But you and I, Tanya, we just get to go up, get pay some money, and travel to some other part of the world and learn about another part of the world. 200 years ago, nobody's doing that. Like,
right,
they just live wherever they grew up or born. That's where they lived. People didn't travel en masse like we can today. So as
right,
much as there's a whole bunch of stuff we don't love, we can still get up and just say, "Hey, let's go somewhere.
right.
Let's go out there for 2 weeks or 3 weeks," so whatever that is. Regardless of how much it costs, we can just do that. To me, that's I don't know how you feel about it, but to me, that's more valuable than buying stuff.
Yes. And those experiences, you really cannot put a price tag on them.
There's no
And
doubt
then
about it.
even, like you were saying earlier, like locally, I think people um, undervalue how much we have here in the States. There are so many like beautiful national parks and,
Gosh,
things like that where you can just drive several hours out somewhere and have a whole new experience. And there we have waterfalls, we have hot springs, we have deserts, we have canyons, we have all the stuff, just
I'm telling you, you go to
something
other
to
parts of the
come
United
out.
States, it feels like another country until you start talking to people, and they have different cultures. If you go to some states, if you go to California, it's different
Yep,
than Georgia. You go to Washington State, you go to somewhere in the middle, Colorado or Texas. Those are all states, but they are different
yep,
culturally. there's, n-
yes,
there's no doubt about it. People could you could drive around the United States for the rest of your life and still not not experience everything. You just could. I think that's a wonderful thing. This section of our conversation, Tanya, is when you ask me something that's on your mind that you would like me to talk about, something that
well, I'm going to be a little selfish, and I would like for you to talk about the Atlanta Black Theater Festival because I am very interested in getting more engaged with theater.
Hmm. Is so thank you for that question. No one's ever asked me that before, even though I just got off
Really?
of a podcast about the Atlanta Black Theater Festival just a few moments ago with the lady from Ghana.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
she's a theater professional named Jessica, I want to say Bodiford, from Ghana. So she was in Ghana while we were talking to her. So,
Wow.
and she was telling us a little bit about the theater scene in Ghana, and it's much bigger than I think that even we thought
Oh,
that it
wow.
is. Uh, the Atlanta Black Theater Festival has had a profound impact on my life And what I mean by that is that it was created many years ago under this premise of we must tell our stories, and that refrain, that thing has become a stronger refrain as time is going on. Because when it was started, then it came out of the stuff that was happening, like Trayvon Martin and some
Yeah.
other things that were occurring. But it becomes even more pronounced these days because there seems to be a real attack on our stories. We've heard about places where they just say, hey, well, let's just take all of the stuff about history that happened 200, 300, 400 years ago and take it out the books. It ain't real. It didn't happen. And that is hurtful. So I joined it as a volunteer a number of years ago. I just said, hey, what can I do as a volunteer? And I became a volunteer for a couple of years, and then I became a board member. And ultimately, I've been able to serve as the board president for the last 4 years. And this year's marks our 15th year. There's been so many amazing things. For those of you who are out there and you're saying theater scene, Atlanta Black Theater Festival, that's a niche thing. No, it's not. It's one of the biggest theater festivals in the world. And the one
Wow.
thing that separates it, in my view, from many others is its consistency. We just don't do it and we just vanish. Like every year we do it. And this year we've partnered with Spelman College to
Nice.
have the entire festival at Spelman College. And for many years, especially during the pandemic, there was kind of this wandering thing that happened. We had one home that was in DeKalb County for many, many years, and they decided that they didn't want to have a theater presence there anymore. So then we had to go to different places, and we found some great places like the Southwest Art Center.
Mm-hmm.
That does a lot of true color stuff and all that. Great place, theater in Macon. I'm saying this all to say is that the Atlanta Black Theater Festival is important to me, not just because when I get a chance to serve on it, but even as a theater person who's written several plays and have had readings. And I had my play premiere in the 2024 Atlanta Black Theater Festival, and it was one of the highlights of my life. There's not many places for us as theater professionals, especially as Black theater professionals, to get our work out there, to have readings of our work, to have productions of our work. It's just not there. Or it exists, but there's a massive amount of friction between
Mm-hmm.
you as a creator and you getting it somewhere. There's the clickiness. The I don't know if it's a real word, Tanya. The clickiness
I know what
that
you mean.
that happens. Yeah, let's just put it's not about the work anymore. It's about
Right.
the
Who
friction that
you
happens be it before a creator can actually put their work out there. And the ABTF is not like that. If someone wants to have their work out and do a reading of it, we'll do it. And and we've also had a very successful film festival over the last number of years. Oh gosh, those films are so amazing. I'm saying this all to say is that the ABTF is the mecca of Black theater for the United States of America. There's other cool places. There's the International Black Theater Festival, which is happening this year in Raleigh,
Oh
North
wow.
Carolina. That's gone on for many, many years. It's a fantastic theater festival. Happens every other year, and
Okay.
this year is going to happen there. A good friend of mine had a festival in Houston last year uh, called Fade to Black. There's one in Indianapolis that happens periodically. There's one that happens in Chicago. And the reason why I know this is that ABTF is sort of like the nexus of all of these different festivals. We have partnerships on some level with all of these different festivals,
Okay.
including the ones in Ghana and in other parts of the world. Tanya, this is such an important organization, and we have fun too. I mean, gosh, we had so much fun last year. We had like a variety show that was like like that thing could have you could put that thing on freaking Amazon Prime and sell it. It was that much fun.
Wow.
It's just that much fun. And the reason, and I love this question because my spirit is hard work to create a festival. Um, my spirit gets full when I'm around creative people.
Yes.
The reservoir of of energy in my life gets full, and everyone knows my story about me and what I handle with MS. And for those of you who are hearing this in March of 2026, this is MS Awareness Month.
Oh, okay.
and 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 to have a place where it can fill up. And Atlanta Dramatist does this for me as well. We have an upcoming festival called the Solidarity Project, and that's going to be an amazing place. It came out of our gut feeling about all of the violence that we were seeing in the United States over the
Yes.
last 6 9 months or so. And someone mentioned this and said, "Well, we had a great leader 60 years ago or so, Martin Luther King, whose focus was on nonviolence." And so he said, "Why don't we create a festival project where we'd have folks submit work about solidarity and about the nonviolence movement?" This is amazing, Tanya, because the world of theater it's helping and healing us as humans, in my opinion. I
Yes.
don't know. Don't you feel that way?
I do. Absolutely.
I feel like it's healing us as we go through the trials of life these days. And I really feel that way. Tanya, you are amazing. When you just said you went to South Africa 3 times, in my head, as you said this, I said, "Has she been to South Africa 3 times? That's not the only place she's been."
No.
That's got to just be one of the many places that you've been in your life. Uh, the Courageous Creativity Show, for those of you out there, was really born out of seeing people in our lives who were creative, not expressing themselves. They were, for whatever reason, the world was like, "You ain't gonna make no money being a
Right.
creative, or you're not going to be successful being a creative," and they didn't. And then for a myriad of reasons, they're not with us anymore. And then when I found out that people were unaliving themselves
Right.
or being lost to violence. And then they had this trove of creative stuff that they didn't share with the world. I was like, that's it's not the first time this happened in human history. But I was like, well, can we create a platform where people like you, Tanya, come in and tell your story? What you just shared about you making a decision to leave your life that you were very successful with to be a creative going forward. That is the epitome of of the show here. It really is. It is emblematic of what we're trying to accomplish. There's no doubt about it. I want you to tell people how they can connect with you. How can they learn more about what you're up to? And what you tell them, we'll obviously put in on the show notes, post this, but tell people how they can connect with you.
I guess they can connect with me. I do have a web page. It's tanyablackwell.net. And I'm working on another one called TMB Creative Works because that's going to be the umbrella for all of my creative projects because I have so many of them and I plan on get sharing them all with the world. And so I needed something to capture everything. And so I am building out that platform. And then of course on social media, you can find me. My handle, I think, on all social media is Lil Cali 52. So LILCALI 52.
Uh, that is awesome. One of the things that we didn't mention here, and sometimes when I'm feeling a certain way and I'm doing my meditation in the morning, is that you have a couple of videos, and we'll put the links to those in the notes. Of videos and almost poetry towards for black men.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
So one of
And
my creative projects, well, I think it's more so a spiritual project for me. It's called Good Morning Black Man. And I don't know necessarily what to call it. It's not a podcast. It's not, I don't know what to call it,
yeah,
but
I don't know either. It's like
um,
you're speaking and it's like commenting. I'm like, oh gosh. Well, let me listen to Tanya's thing for black men, and it's amazing.
yeah, so I was actually in a retreat in the North Georgia mountains when I was inspired one day. My heart was really, really heavy, and I couldn't figure out why. And I was doing this solo hike, going to the waterfall, and something just like told me like sit down. I was crossing this bridge, and I sat down on the bridge, and I took my phone out, and I was like, just whatever. Like I had some, my heart was heavy, and when I just whatever fell out we're gonna just we're gonna see what it is. And I just started with Good Morning Black Man, and then this recording just fell out, and I was like, oh my goodness. So I shared it with a couple of men, and then when I came back home, I typically wake up about 3 o'clock in the morning every day. And so at this point, I was like, you know what? Let me see what happens if I just do the same thing. And so I'd wake up in the morning, I'd put on some music, take my phone out, and record whatever fell out. So I never knew like what the topic was gonna be, or what it was gonna, whatever came through me was gonna be it. And so what I discovered though, in like transitioning, like I would upload the video, or I mean the audio, and I would share it. So I would listen back, and then I'm like, wait, even though like my focus was for Black men, every single time the message was also something that I needed to receive myself. And so I felt like this was a way that God was helping to like talk to me, but also use me to talk to Black men, because I have my brothers, I have my sons, I have a lot of wonderful Black men in my life, and I've had the benefit of being poured into and loved on and affirmed in a variety of ways in communities. And then when I thought to myself, like, who's loving on the Black man? Who's affirming him? Who is inspiring him before he goes out in this world to deal with whatever he encounters? And I didn't see anything. And I'm like, well, I can do it. I have a voice, I have a platform. So um, last year I was releasing them, like I started in January, and I was doing an episode every morning, and I sent them out to my subscribers. And I was calling them episodes. So I did like 31 episodes. And then last year I also did a Ramadan series. And it's interesting because I even had like my non-Muslim brothers who really enjoyed the Ramadan series as well. So I have to figure out like what my next steps are with that. It's been kind of challenging to like get it out. And also I have discovered that Black men seem to have like it also requires you to like pause and take the time and listen. And I found that like consistency in that regards, like I don't know how to get them to like incorporate it into their daily life, you know. So we're
Yeah.
working on that.
It's a beautiful thing, and it's a great series. And I am very confident that as time goes on, more people will catch on to it because there's there should be more of what you're doing when it comes to black men. And that just don't mean for black men like myself at a certain point in life. I mean like young people,
Yes.
like our sons and all of that. They need to hear these kind of things because they hear other things.
Right.
And what you're doing there is really powerful for them.
Thank you.
Tanya, you are so awesome. I am asking you and almost telling you that I would love for you to come back on the Courageous Creativity Show.
Absolutely.
The Courageous Creativity Show is part of the Rising Tides charity. And for years, we've had a focus on thinking about doing other things. But what the heart of what we've done is this show specifically. And really, we've had, I don't know how many episodes we've had to this point. It's got to be getting close to 150 ish,
Oh
maybe,
wow.
episodes. And they are all over the world. When I look at who's looking at it, there's a lot of times, Tanya, where people are looking at it on different parts of the planet that you and I would never think that they would pick it up. And so they're hearing your story, they're hearing our story, and your story is a story of resilience. Gosh, it is. I hope people understand that we live in a time in the world where you can make a decision like Tanya did. 300 years ago, none of us are making decisions unless we're in the aristocracy. We got up and people told us when we were born what we're going to be when we died, and we'd have to fight
Mhm.
for anything else. But you and me get to do what Tanya did. We get to say, you know what? This life ain't working for me. I'm gonna go to South Africa 3 times. I'm gonna go somewhere else. I'm gonna go chill. I'm not gonna do this anymore, or I'm going to do what my spirit is compelling me to do. And that's hard. And you've just been a great, great guest For those of you out there, please go to risingtidecharity.org or winstonableston.com. You'll see more about how you can get involved and how we can help you continue to find your creative spirit. Thanks again, Tanya.
Thank you.